Hello, welcome back to Miss Finance. My name's Rebecca, and on the channel, as you know, I go for all things accounting, finance, investment, and Excel related. So if you do like this kind of stuff, please do consider subscribing. So without further delay, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so let's have a look at example 1. If we have a look at the asset cost account on the balance sheet or statement of financial position, we can see that we've got a car for £53,000 and a lorry for £112,000. Now, in terms of the accumulated depreciation to date, that car has been depreciated by £43,000 and the lorry by £56,000. So we've had a look on the market for a replacement car because we want to get rid of the car that we've currently got and upgrade that. And we found a car for £55,000 that we want to purchase. Now the supplier has said that they'd be willing to part exchange the car that we've currently got for £5,000. So we know that the car is going to cost us £55,000. We've now got the part X of £5,000, and what we need to now do is post those journal entries. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to credit the asset cost balance sheet by £53,000 to remove that car, and I'm actually going to debit what we call the asset disposal account on the balance sheet. Next, I want to remove all accumulated depreciation to date. So in this case, the depreciation up until this point has already been calculated for us. So all we need to do is debit the asset accumulated depreciation account on the balance sheet, and we're going to credit the asset disposal account on the balance sheet. So you can see here now that I have a debit of 53,000 and a credit of 43,000 in my asset disposal account. Now, when we look at what's going through the bank, we're not going to be paying the full £55,000 for this vehicle. We're actually only going to contribute £50,000 because of the part exchange allowance that we're receiving. So what we then need to do is account for this new vehicle. So we're going to credit the bank with £50,000 because we're going to pay that day. We're going to debit the asset cost account on the balance sheet by £50,000. And then we've got to deal with this part exchange allowance. So the part exchange allowance is going to go as a credit against the asset disposal account by £5,000, and it's going to go as a debit to the asset cost account by £5,000. So that when we look at that particular vehicle, the value of that vehicle is now sat at £55,000, which is correct because that is the full value of that vehicle. Now then, in terms of the asset disposal account, there's one more thing we need to do. So if we balance this account off, and when I say balance, I mean we're going to have a look at the totals there. So there's currently a difference of £5,000. So here you can see that this £5,000 is sat on the right of the disposal account. Now that is a loss on disposal. So the entries to record that are going to be to credit this asset disposal account by £5,000 and to debit the loss on disposal in the profit and loss account or the income statement. So let's have a look at another example. So here we've got machinery cost of 68,000, computer cost of 12,000, both of those sat in the asset cost account on the balance sheet, and then we've got accumulated depreciation of £65,000 for the machinery and £10,000 for the computer, and they're both sat under the asset accumulated depreciation account on the balance sheet. Next, what we're being told is that the machinery that we've got is going to be replaced by new machinery that's going to cost £100,000. Now, they're going to actually give us a part exchange of £4,000 towards the machinery that we've got currently. So, in terms of the initial accounting treatment for this, we're going to take the cost out of the asset cost account and we're going to write back the accumulated depreciation. So what we need to do is credit the asset cost account by £68,000 for that machinery, and we're going to debit the asset disposal account with £68,000. Next, we're going to debit the asset accumulated depreciation account with £65,000 for that accumulated depreciation, and then we're going to credit the asset disposal account with £65,000. Now, in terms of the new machinery, even though it's going to cost £100,000, we're not going to spend £100,000 because we've got a part exchange of 4. So what's going to go through our bank is £96,000. So the £100,000 minus the £4,000. So we're going to credit the bank with £96,000 because that's what we're paying for today, and then we're going to debit the asset cost account with £96,000. So next we need to account for this part exchange of £4,000. So we're going to credit the asset disposal account with £4,000, and we're going to debit the asset cost account with £4,000, so that the total cost of that asset sat in our accounts is now £100,000. Now, if you have a look at the asset disposal account, you'll see that actually we've got more on the right of that account than we do on the left. So we've actually got £69,000 on the right compared to £68,000 on the left. So what that's telling me is that I actually have a gain on disposal, and the gain is £1,000. So in order to account for that, I'm going to debit the asset disposal account by £1,000 on the balance sheet, and then I'm going to credit gain on disposal to the income statement or the statement of profit and loss to account for that gain on disposal. So I hope you found this video useful. Do consider subscribing as always, and I shall see you on the next video.